Hey there, welcome to another edition of Ask Ron. This isn't a question that I'm answering, but if it was, the question would be, is there a difference between powerlifting and bodybuilding? Yes, and the reason I'm making this video is because a lot of people out there, a lot of bodybuilders, don't seem to understand that there is a difference. What am I saying? A lot of guys will post up videos of how strong they are, which is cool. It's cool that you're strong. It's cool that you can bench press this much or barbell row this much, deadlift, squat. But if you're a competitive bodybuilder, not just a guy who goes to the gym, and if you're just a guy who goes to the gym, it's cool to be kind of big, kind of strong, because you're never probably going to be elite at either one of those. So a blend of both is great. That's cool. But if you're a competitive bodybuilder, if you compete in bodybuilding contests, whether it's classic physique or bodybuilding, I consider both of them bodybuilding. The goal is to have the best physique you can have, to develop all the muscle groups to the best of your ability and have them be balanced and proportionate to each other. It's to build the best physique you can. The weights you use, the training, that's just a means to an end. It's a tool. It is not the goal. The goal is to transform your physique, to have the best physique that you can possibly create. Now, you do need weights to do that, obviously. You will need heavy weights, relatively speaking, but here's the thing. If you have no back, if your back lacks thickness, you turn around, it looks like you barely train it. It doesn't matter that you can deadlift 600, 700 pounds. It doesn't matter that you can barbell row 400 pounds. All that matters is what's your back look like. Again, in bodybuilding, if you can leg press 2,000 pounds, or you can squat all kinds of plates, that's great, but you know what? It doesn't matter. What matters? What your legs look like. So to try to make it to try to put this in a analogy you can all understand, powerlifting is a whole other sport, and in that sport, all that matters is how much weight you can lift. In a meet, a sanctioned meet with judges, making sure the lift is done properly to the specifications of the organization. So let's say you're in a weight class where the bench press, a really good bench press for your weight would be 500 to 600 pounds, let's just say. Let's just say that's where you're competing, and all you can bench press is 300 pounds. But let's say for some reason you have this awesome chest, and you're posting pictures all the time, flexing this awesome chest. But you go to meets and you take last place because you can't bench press for shit. Other powerlifters would laugh because they're saying, well, that's cool that you have this chest or these big triceps or whatever, but, you know, we're kicking your ass. You're not a very good powerlifter. So one really doesn't have anything to do with the other. Same thing. Say a powerlifter has massive legs, but he can't squat much, and he goes to meets and his squat is horrible compared to the other people. They're going to say the same thing. You're a shitty powerlifter. I don't care what your legs look like, because that doesn't matter. This is powerlifting. What matters is how much weight you're squatting. That's it. Same thing to deadlift. Let's just say you're a powerlifter with this great thick back. Looks awesome. You know, people reminded of Ronnie Coleman or something. Now, you guys are all going to argue and say, well, if you had a back like that, you'd be able to deadlift. Not necessarily. But again, you have this great back, but your deadlift sucks, then you suck as a deadlifter and you're not a good powerlifter. So, what am I getting at here is if you're a bodybuilder and you compete in bodybuilding, it's fine to post these lifting videos, but understand that it means nothing. It doesn't matter. When you're on stage, judges don't know how much you can lift, and it doesn't matter. You can tell them. Maybe they can look at your Instagram, and they don't care. It has nothing to do with how bodybuilding is judged, which is basically entirely on your physique, what they're looking at, the visual. So just keep in mind, guys, that if you're a competitive bodybuilder, you have to figure out how to develop that muscle. And maybe these super heavy weights and these lifts that you're doing, they're not the way to do it. You know, it's cool for your ego and you're getting a lot of likes, you're getting a lot of followers, and young kids think you're cool because you can bench press this much or squat this much. That's all well and good. But understand, in competitive bodybuilding, if you have decided to compete in bodybuilding, or you do compete in bodybuilding, that's all that matters, is what you look like. And if these lifts that you're doing now are not improving your physique, if you have crappy legs, it doesn't matter how much you squat. Maybe you need to figure out, maybe hack squats would be better for me. Maybe leg press. Maybe I shouldn't be doing sets of 2 reps or 5 reps. Maybe I need to do more reps, more volume, more reps. These are things you need to think about, because you're going to get a lot of props from people on these lifts on Instagram and it's YouTube, whatever. It's a lot of people that are just in awe of strength, which is cool because, like I said, there's a whole other sport that's all about strength. In fact, there are several. There's Olympic lifting, which obviously isn't very popular anymore. There's powerlifting. There's strongman. These are all things where you're judged on how strong you are. Even CrossFit. Even CrossFit is judged on your training, how hard you train. Are you working out? Are you able to get more reps and faster times than the next guy or girl? The CrossFit competition, if you've ever seen CrossFit games on ESPN2, very, very tough. Those are all judged on how you train. So it's the person who's the best trainer in the world wins that, basically. So what I'm getting at, guys, is, if you're a regular gym rat, if you're just someone who loves to be kind of big, kind of strong, go ahead and put up posing pictures, lifting videos. That's all well and good. Just understand that if you're a competitive bodybuilder, if you have not developed your physique completely and in a balanced way, you have failed. If you can squat a ton of weight, but your legs are not developed, you failed. I always use myself as an example because I guess I'm self-centered. But my legs right now, they're still pretty damn great. I'll be 50 years old in a couple weeks. My legs are still really big. My best body part, my quads especially. I can't squat for shit anymore. It's a good day if I can squat 315 for 10 anymore, just because a lot of issues. I won't even get into them here. But you know what? It doesn't matter. I found other ways, other exercises, time under tension, slowing down the reps. I found other ways to make my legs grow, or at least to maintain their size. They've probably been the same size for many, many years now. But I have not failed as a bodybuilder because my legs are still big, even though I can't squat. It doesn't have anything to do with it. My arms. Everyone who knows me or knows about me knows that's always been my most challenging body part. If I sit here and tell you, well, I can curl 225 for a few strict reps, or I can curl 100-pound dumbbells, I can't. But I'm just saying, if I could, so what? People would say, your arms they're still crappy, dude. I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. And you know what? They're right. I have failed as a bodybuilder to develop my arms. It doesn't matter how much weight I use, doesn't matter how hard I train them. All that matters is the end result. What do they look like? So a lot of you guys like to rip on guys, on bodybuilders, champion bodybuilders especially, who you don't think are as strong as they should be, or you don't think they train as hard. I can't tell you how many times I've heard, well, Phil, he doesn't train that hard. You don't get prizes in bodybuilding for how hard you train. Some of the people with the shittiest physiques in the world, I'm sure, train harder than most of the people with great physiques, and it doesn't matter. The people with the great physiques obviously have great genetics. They're training hard enough to look the way they do. Maybe they would look a little better if they trained a little harder, but you don't get any points. You don't get first place for how hard you train, how strong you are. It's all based on what your physique looks like. And that's my little spiel for today. I'm not calling anyone out specifically. It's just I'm trying to remind you guys that bodybuilding is a sport of crafting the physique, building the physique. So if you can do so with very, very heavy weights and, max reps, some people can, that's great. If you need to figure out other ways, if you need to use more moderate reps, lighter weights so you can feel the muscle working, there's no shame in it. Whatever works for you, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter how strong you are relative to any other bodybuilder, because strength literally has nothing to do with this. Nothing. It's cool that some people are strong. It's inspirational to see people lift these sick weights. But does it matter in the end? All that matters is what they look like. So, hey, they're here to do my lawn. So I got to go. Thanks for watching Ask Ron. Give me some questions on these, and I'll try to make some videos that actually answer a question or two here and there. Talk to you next time, and follow me at Ron Harris Muscle on Instagram. At Ron Harris Muscle. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.